afternoon where I am in Central Java, Indonesia. Good evening for those joining us from eastern part of the country. And perhaps good morning from who knows, wherever you're joining this session. Welcome to the third session for this Season 2 iTELL webinar, supported by British Council. My name is Francis Inanu, and I will be the moderator for today's session. Our session today is entitled Instilling Netiquettes in Remote Learning. And the speaker is Ibu Neni Isharyanti. As she mentioned yesterday, if you joined the session yesterday, she said that today's session will be different from previous iTELL webinar because today she would like to invite more comments from you as we learn together in this webinar. So to do so, I would like to remind some housekeeping for this webinar. If you have questions about the session, you can ask your questions in the Q&A room. If you go to the button below there, you can find that. Or if you just want to say hi or you want to make yourself noticed by colleagues, you can drop a line in the chat room. Later on, after the presentation, if you have questions and you would like to ask your questions live, you can raise your hands, and then the host will allow you to speak, and you can unmute your microphone and we can all listen to your questions. So the title of today's session is Instilling Netiquettes in Remote Learning, and Neni aims to introduce and share common etiquette in digital platforms, email, chats, forums, etc., and how to apply them as a means to develop learners' social skills in the 21st century digital age, particularly during this pandemic where everything is online. A little bit about our speaker so that you know who Neni is. Neni Isharyanti is currently a PhD student at the University of Manchester, and she's doing her research for her dissertation on employable teachers' professional identities. Jadi kalau Bapak Ibu tadi dengar ada yang ngomongin Liverpool dan Manchester karena Neni saat ini ada di Inggris. She has been a teacher trainer. She's my colleagues here at Universitas Kristen Satyawacana and an avid TEL practitioner for almost 20 years. I guess that's it for me to introduce Ibu Neni, or Kakak Neni, or Mbak Neni, Jeng Neni. I think let's start listening to you on this Instilling Netiquettes in Remote Learning. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Neni Isharyanti.
Thank you, Frances. Good morning from sunny Manchester. It's been some chill days for the past 3 or 4 days. It's very cold. It's surprising. It's supposed to be spring already, but it's pretty cold. But I'm actually would like to thank all the panelists here. We have Kakak Grace, we have Beli Made, Harry, and we have Toar. So they're going to help me. Especially in answering some questions, if you have in a question and answer. And yes, today we're going to talk about netiquettes. So what is netiquettes and what are some common tips and guidelines for netiquettes? Let me share my screen for a second. Right, I hope everybody can see my PowerPoint here. Can everybody hear me clearly? Just checking. If you can hear me clearly, please type in a chat. Yes, good. All right, so the first thing that we're going to discuss is, this is the menu for today. I would like to always start with what we're going to discuss today. So first, we're going to talk about what is netiquettes. Second, why netiquettes, and what are the specific netiquettes. And some useful tips for chat, social media, emails, and forums. Now, the thing is, this is my philosophy in regards to teachers. I believe that teachers are powerful, knowledgeable, and you have experiences that are very useful to be shared to everybody. So if you do have something to say based on your experience or knowledge, feel free to share with everybody. And also another philosophy that I have is every time we're doing something, we have to understand why we have to do so. So because I have these two philosophies, I'm going to invite you all to share the whys, to think. One is to think, to reflect of why it is so, or why you think this has to be done certain way, but also to share some of your experiences and knowledge. So let's just get started with what is netiquette. Now, as I say, you have some knowledge and experience. I would like you to go to menti.com, and this is the code 198438, and tell me, what do you think netiquette is? Meanwhile, let me see. Golly gosh, wait a second. Do you still have the Menti one? Menti.com, and the code is 198438. And then let me see what is going on there. Oh. Wait a sec. Jeez. Okay, let me share this in the share one. Right. Wow, there's so many things going on. The correct or acceptable way of communicating on the internet, politeness in online setting, internet etiquette, cyber wellness, attitudes. I haven't had an idea, which is okay. Common accepted rules for polite behavior. I haven't had an idea. The etiquette of online interaction. Wow, there's so many rules. How to keep on being polite. Etiquettes in using medsos. How to behave online. Wow. This means you don't need me. I don't think you need me, because I think everybody has already know what is netiquette. Oh, wow. All right. If I can show this. So I think everybody got a pretty rough idea or correct idea of what is netiquette. Now, netiquette, if you notice from the word, come from the word internet plus etiquettes. I think everybody who is now living in the modern area know what is internet, and you know what is etiquettes. So basically, it's a set of rules for acceptable online behavior. So being polite, as many of you mentioned, is not only the only thing that is in the etiquettes, but also acceptable online behavior. So this can be anything. This can be privacy, it can be safety, security, politeness. So netiquettes, once again, is a set of rules for acceptable online behaviors. Now, why netiquettes? Why do you think we need to instill in our students this netiquettes? So again, go to Menti, the same code. And then why do you think netiquettes is that important? Okay. Let me go to the next one. Again, why do you think we need to do netiquettes? Come on, let's type. Everybody, I need to know, I need to pick on your mind. Why do you think we need to teach netiquettes? To make clear online interaction. Okay, respect each other in virtual way. We need to instill values to students. We are living in tour, online and offline, and both require etiquette. It's character building, to keep on being polite, to avoid misunderstanding, to learn to act professionally. Well, this is interesting. Professional conduct. Yeah? We can communicate comfortably, so we can appropriately have a communication and discussion. Oh, whoops, what did I do? I think I do something here that is not right. Whoops. Okay. To avoid plagiarism. Wow, that's a good one. because students need to understand the ethics. Students need to do acceptable manner in all way, to introduce different culture, learn to respect others. Well, these are some deep answer, I should say. So let's get back. Whoopsie. So I think some of you have a pretty good idea why we need etiquettes. We want to instill values. We want to help our students to behave professionally or behave in an acceptable behavior, not only offline, but also online. And the reason why I would like to present this topic of netiquettes because of Pak Jati, actually. Pak Jati on May 20th actually posts this Facebook status. For those of you who don't understand Indonesian, this state, a lot of people ask Pak Jati how to teach character online. And his naughty question is, can you actually teach character? It needs to be pondered. So why I ask you why we need netiquettes is one of the answer to this status by Pak Jati. I think we all agree that in the future, our students need several skills, and one of the skills is social skills. So I would like to go into this 21st century skill, and I got this from World Economic Forum in 2016. New vision for education, fostering social and emotional learning through technology. So if you look at 21st century skills, these are some of the things that, whoopsie. These are some of the things that we need to handle. I'm not sure how I should do this. So if you look at this, there is culture and civic literacy, something that we need to instill in our students, how to be literate not only in a civic manner, but also cultural manner. Jadi ada keterampilan tentang budaya lain dan juga berperilaku secara sebagai seorang warga negara. There is also competencies that is called communication and collaboration. Jadi ada kompetensi untuk berkomunikasi dan berkolaborasi. And there is also something called character qualities, which is leadership and social and cultural awareness. We need to ensure that our students aware of differences in social and cultural values. So, and also how to become leaders in the future. Jadi kita juga perlu membangun karakter siswa ya, selain kepemimpinan, tetapi juga kesadaran bahwa ada perbedaan sosial dan perbedaan kultur. Okay, now stepping more into the 21st century skills, World Economic Forum offered this variety of general and targeted learning strategies to foster social and emotional skills. In terms of social and cultural awareness, we do have foster greater respect and tolerance for others. Jadi menumbuhkan budaya untuk menghormati dan bertoleransi pada yang lain, encourage empathy, bagaimana kita bisa membuat siswa kita lebih berempati pada orang lain, and foster cultural self-awareness, kesadaran bahwa kita punya latar belakang kultur tertentu. Another one, as I mentioned, leadership, foster the ability to negotiate. So negotiation is one of the skill of leadership that we need to instill to our students, and encourage empathy again. Sehingga kemampuan untuk bernegosiasi dan berempati dengan orang lain itu penting. And then we also have for communication, this is probably very relevant to our some of our contexts, create a language-rich environment. When we talk about language, we don't only talk about grammatical accuracy, but also pragmatic competence, which translate to whether our students know the audience and know the context when they're communicating. So one of the things that we could do to foster that social and emotional skill is to create a language-rich environment that enables them to experience different sort of context for language. Sehingga ketika kita berusaha untuk membangun keterampilan berkomunikasi, kita juga harus menciptakan lingkungan yang memampukan siswa untuk melihat berbagai jenis konteks dan situasi, sehingga mereka mampu berkomunikasi dalam konteks dan situasi yang bermacam-macam. Collaboration, again, respect and tolerance for others, but also provide opportunity for group work, because, well, you know, one of the things about being social is also being working with other people. So that's why we need to provide opportunity for group work. And then in the middle, there's like how to teach all skills. This is pretty simplified, but I think this is worth sharing. Something like create safe environment for learning. How we actually provide environment that makes them feel it is safe for them to learn anything. Foster nurturing relationship. So instead of hostile relationship, we have a nurturing relationship. Also offer engaged caregiving. So we care about our students and then we can engage with them in a caring way. Okay. So these are some of the tips that is offered by World Economic Forum. Very practical, but again, it is translated into many different strategies. And I'm sure that all of you have already tried some of the ways here. Okay. Next one. So what are the netiquettes? Now, this is like the nitty-gritty of what is netiquettes. So the first one is, why it didn't show? Remember the human on the other side. Now, this is something that is simple, but actually not simple. We need to instill to our students to remember that whenever they're engaging in any platform, in internet, they are responding to a human being. The other side of the communication is a human being. You cannot yell to a human being. You cannot be nasty to a human being. The other human being on the other side of your chat, of your posting, they have feelings, they have opinions, and you have to constantly remember that they have flaws, they have feelings. So you need to remember that there is the other human on the other side. The second one is follow the same standard of behaviors online that you follow in real life. In real life, for example, you don't yell to people. In real life, you don't swear to other people. In real life, you say thank you and sorry and excuse me. You apologize when you make mistake. And this applies to the internet platform as well. So instill in your student is, if you don't do that in real life, then don't do that in online conversation. The third one is know where you are in cyberspace. This is knowing the audience, knowing the context. If you're conducting a class using WhatsApp, for example, this is WhatsApp. It's pretty relaxed because WhatsApp is always known as something that is relaxed, but know that this is still a class. That means there are certain conduct that you need to follow. You are not late. You are the students are required to answers. They still have to do some work there. If this is a WhatsApp group, for example, if you create a WhatsApp group for your students, they need to realize that although this is in Facebook, and Facebook is a social media that is relaxed, they need to realize that this is a formal place. I have an interesting experience actually, because I created a Facebook page for my department. And one of the things that I actually put in the bio, sort of like about of the Facebook page of our department, our faculty, is to say that this is an official platform for the faculty. So we expect formal use of language, be it in Indonesian or this is English. And I think you can also apply this to your platform, whether this is like Facebook group or this is like a WhatsApp platform. You need to put in it about that this is a formal place. So know where you are in cyberspace is very important. There are sometimes that you can go relax and be informal, but there are some places that you can only do formal there. The next one is make yourself look good online. Being online is pretty much putting your persona out there. Now, many of you probably are familiar with the Face App Challenge this day, where people can change their appearance to look nice or beautiful. And being online, actually putting a different a good persona there. Now, in a practical way, when you want to make yourself look good online, requires a lot of checking before you actually post. So make sure you make your students actually check whatever they're going to post and ask themselves questions. Should I post this? Is this useful? Is this nice? Is the grammar correct? Is my pronunciation, is my spelling correct? Is this hoax? Is this a true information? Does this help others? So there are a lot of questioning going on before you actually post a status or something in the chat. So make yourself look good online requires a good bio, something as simple as you don't put a silly name in your Facebook name, for example, like cute girl 2000 atau Sinta ingin dimanja and things like that as your name, because one, that is not clear. Second, it gives like a bad persona to yourself. And secondly, you also need to make sure that you shouldn't check whatever they post before they're actually posting. Okay, the fourth one, don't flame or scream or spam. Flaming is it's a term which translate into you don't instantly react in a nasty way. And screaming, it is translated in internet as putting everything in capital or in caps lock. When you put whatever you post in all caps lock, that means you scream, you yell at other people. Or spam. I think people know what is spamming. You don't post the same thing over and over and over and over, and it's flooding the whole chat conversation, for example. Or you don't put information that is not according to the purpose of your platform. Like if this is a Facebook group that you created for your class, well, posting an advertisement for certain product is not something that you want to have. The next one is respect other people's privacy, time, and bandwidth. And this is important because everybody has different situation. People's privacy lead to something what we call doxing. Doxing is when you try to dig about someone's bad personnel or information and to use it to attack others. So you need to respect other people's privacy. When people don't want to share their personal information online, you respect that. Also time. This is something that I have to over and over with my students because internet is so free of time. You can literally answer questions anytime, in the middle of the night, during sleeping. So you need to instill that you only ask question and you answer the question when it is convenient for you or whether this is your office time. And also bandwidth. This is something that is relevant in remote learning era because not everybody has the bandwidth. Not everybody has the quota. So posting a video can be convenient for you, but it can be inconvenient for other people because they just don't have the quota to download everything, and pictures too. And there are some platforms that are very heavy on bandwidth. So you need to respect that other people may not have the same access as you are. And the last one is forgive other people's mistake. Now, this is something that is very common offline, but also online. You can get triggered really easily by even the silliest mistakes. Somebody misspells something, somebody doesn't know about simple things. People can commit mistakes even in internet, and you need to learn to make students not flaming it easily. So when somebody is actually use incorrect grammar, for example, or incorrect spelling, you don't jump into that person, flame into that person. Instead, you can use a subtle way of helping that person rather than flaming. So these are the basic netiquettes. I'm sure if you go online, there are other hundreds of things, and I'm actually dying to hear what are some netiquettes that you know. This is some tips of how to use netiquettes in your class. The first one is establish some rules of communications. So it is useful to start your class by establishing some rules. For example, and then publish and educate the rules to your students, and then model the rules, okay, and then become a moderator. So let's break down these tips into smaller chunks. When you establish some rules of communications, you establish the do's and the don'ts. Something that is relevant to your platform, something that is relevant to your class. Something as simple as, please raise your hand when you ask questions using emoji, for example. Or don't put your post in caps lock because it's yelling, for example. Or please address each other politely, not using nicknames, for example. Please put a clear bio or full name, or please use your student number, things like that. And also, I think this is something important too, establish the time. Something like, I only answer question between 8 a.m. in the morning to 4 p.m. in the afternoon. I don't respond to answers any time of the day. Please be patient with that. Establish because I encounter some of the behavior that don't respect time. For example, when, again, I mentioned the time when I have to be the administrator of our faculty Facebook page. There are people who actually ask questions and they demand that the answer is straightforward, and that's like in the middle of the night, so it's impossible. So it's very important to establish some rules of communication. Also, it is useful maybe to ask your students some of the rules of communication that they would like to see. So instead of setting the rules yourself, you can actually work together with your students. This is also a good checking for your students, whether they have already understood what are some etiquettes or some common rules that they have already encountered. Because we always believe that our students also have some knowledge and some experiences, and they may use that experiences and knowledge from real life to our class. Now, publish and educate the rules. You can use an FAQ. So you can establish an FAQ in your platform, whether it's in a chat about or in the Facebook group about, or you can also put it in your blog, something that your students can always refer back. And this is also to instill the netiquettes in your students. Whenever your students actually violate the netiquettes, you can always remind them gently by saying, please check at the FAQ number 10, for example. Another one is also to provide a quiz. I found some quizzes in online on netiquettes, which is very useful, but you can also create your own quiz so that you make sure that your students actually understand all the rules that you have already set up. Now, Another one that is very important as well is to model the rules. You want to be the model of how to conduct yourself online, and this is actually important to actually have a different accounts for different purpose. Like you can have a personal Facebook account, but also you have a more formal teacher like Facebook account, and you can model the rules. And our students are very resourceful this day, especially when it regards to internet. They can dig into you. So this is why I always careful about the privacy of my status posts, like in Facebook, in my personal Facebook. I don't really, this is one of the practice that my supervisor here employ. So he doesn't accept any friendship requests from current students. And I do the same thing. So it's impossible for current students to actually look at my supervisor's Facebook account. But once they become an alumni, they can add him freely. The last one is becoming a moderator. So you moderate the conversation by reminding them of the netiquettes, and then you also regulate like how people talk, and also sometimes you reprimand the students. So if you cannot remind them gently, if you cannot regulate strictly, the last resort is of course reprimanding. And I think reprimanding students, although it's painful for the students, it's necessary because sometimes they need to be reprimanded. Okay, let's go to the next one. Now, what are some of your tips for this platform? There are so many platforms in the internet. We have chat, we have emails, we have forums, we have blogs, for example. So this is where your experience and your knowledge come handy to others. So I would like you to open this Padlet. Can somebody actually copy in the chat so everybody can easily open this? So let me open the Padlet right now. Let's see where it is. Okay. Right. So, oh my goodness. This is awful. Oh, golly gosh. I cannot just go to the Padlet. Let me just put the Padlet easily. Padlet. Okay. So this is a Padlet for netiquettes. Let me share with you some of the things that I do in chats. This is some of my tips. You can add your tips. You can comment on the tips, whether this is useful or not successful, or you have already applied in a different way. In chats, I usually set out an active time and a downtime. For example, if you're teaching using WhatsApp, make sure you put a time there. Like, okay, our online time is between 9 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock in the morning, or something like that. So you know that other than that time, your student may ask, but will not get a response as quickly as possible, or this is the class time, okay? Another one is clear identity, bio, username, and things like that. I think it is annoying when you're trying to talk to your students, but you don't know which students, especially if you have a big number of students. Another one is to establish a routine of normal conversation. When you're doing normal conversation, you do greetings. Hello, how are you today? And also goodbye. So not just leaving the conversation hanging. One of the one of the hazard of using a chat room is you can just jump in and ask questions to people without manner. You can just jump out of conversation, and I think this is important to actually establish the routine of conversation, like by saying hi, how are you, and then go on to your question, and then saying goodbye after you're done. Wow, this is actually, people are actually actively commenting to this. Magic words also work. Where is it? Magic words, please, thank you, sorry. It's still applicable in chatting. You know, when you ask question, you say please, or when you want to raise a question, you say please. You say thank you when somebody answer your question. You say sorry when you accidentally offend each other. And also, this is something that is very much in chat. Let other finish. So a lot of time I've seen in WhatsApp chat, people actually talk at the same time. They type at the same time, and this can be very confusing. So one of the way that I put for let other finish is to agree with my students that when I'm typing triple dots like this in my chat, this means that I haven't finished yet. Okay, or you can say con. That means I haven't finished talking yet. And when you're done, you say like one dot or n, and then you can have other people respond. This can be helpful for students actually to focus rather than being distracted by so many chats. So those are my tips for chats. Social media, again, we can have thinking before sharing or replying or commenting. So instead of being triggered easily, and believe me, these days you can be triggered easily with many things, always make sure that your students question themselves whether this is useful, whether this is true, whether this is nicely put, whether grammatically it's correct, whether the spelling is correct before they're actually posting anything. You can also have separate accounts for separate purposes. So like I mentioned before, I have different accounts for my Facebook. One is from my social life, which is only applicable to friends and families. But there is also one more formal account for my classes. Wait a second. Tadi hilang di mana ya? Ada yang hilang. Emails. Oh, this one. There's also a different social media for different purpose. Like Twitter is 280 characters. Ini kok ngilang-ngilang mulu sih. Where is my thing? Okay. Like Twitter is 280 characters. Photo works better. It's for short and quick responses. You can, one of the suggestions for activity is for your students to follow useful accounts using lists. So something like this is my Twitter. Like in my Twitter, I have a different list. This is my list. Like I have a list called Call, where I follow everybody who's doing computer-assisted language learning. Cici Celia is there. So it consists of any accounts that are actually practitioners or teachers in Call. So latest technology in ELT, bahan webinar. So Twitter is good for something like that. Another one, wow, people has been doing this. Another one is Instagram. As we know, Instagram is for pictures and long caption. One of the idea for activity is actually you can do a photojournalism type of activities. So you can ask your students to post a picture and describe a picture using the captions, and then your class can comment to each other. Facebook, I think everybody has known what is Facebook, but one of the tips of doing Facebook is if you want your students to actually read without clicking more, you need to post in 4 lines only. And also Facebook is actually good for creating groups. So you can have the group secret as well and things like that. I think people has already known about this. Tumblr is a kind of photo plus blog. So again, you can do photojournalism with Tumblr. So this is Tumblr. My Tumblr is something like this. But you can ask your students to create Tumblrs like this one. This is Black Lives Matter, and follow with a long block of donation signs and mental health resources. So Tumblr is a blog slash photo platform. Another one is specialty social media. If you're familiar with Goodreads, this is a special social media for people who likes reading books. So if you have a literature class, for example, this Goodreads is a good place because you can search for books. I'm currently reading Becoming by Michelle Obama. So your students can read a review about the book. What is it about? They can write a review about the book, and they can have a question and answer about Becoming. You can discuss. So you can actually create a lot of book review in here. You can discuss, you can create groups, you can comments, you can do a reading challenge. If you are in literature class or reading class, this is very useful because, for example, you can do a reading challenge. For 2020, I challenged myself to read 3 books, and so far I have finished 1 book, which is a very good way. Your students can also comment on this, comment on other people's, and share. So this is one of the specialty social media that you can use. If you like movie, another specialty social media is Letterboxd. So Letterboxd is specific for movies. So if you want to, in listening class, for example, you want to ask your students to watch certain movies and then have a review on that. So for example, this is my friend Jensen Yermi watching Hello World. And then if you have already watched the same thing, you can provide a rating, you can review the movie, like I like the movie, it's awesome, and things like that. So you can create a social media for movie lovers using Letterboxd. Okay, let's get back to other platform, emails. Wacky email address. Wacky email address is something that is not representing your person name. Something like cute girl 2020 or or anything that doesn't have to do with your person name. Another one is email subject is a must. That's good one. Email subject is a must. There are many times when I receive email without email subject, and it's quite annoying because I receive a lot of emails, and as teacher, usually you will have a lot of emails as well, and it's annoying when you don't know what the email is about. No attachment without cover letter. So sometimes I receive an attachment, but without any content. And that's annoying. That's very annoying. And also because email stands from electronic mail. So that is a mail, that is a letter. So you need to instill in your students that there is a certain structure of a letter that they need to follow. It has to have a salutation or greetings. It needs to have the content, and it has to have a closing saying regards or sincerely yours. Forums. Forums usually also have subject, and the subject needs to be short and informative. A one-liner is a waste of bandwidth, like just saying like, I agree, okay, no problem. And that can be a waste of bandwidth. And also reading before replying, because in forum usually you need to check whether other people have already written something about it. So you don't write similar things or the same thing, except if you have something that is an opposite of opinion, or if you feel that you need to add something in that. People have already adding a lot of things here, like Google Classroom, other platform. If you have any tips for Google Classroom, doing synchronous learning, technical stuff and behavioral stuff needs to be put into consideration according to this person. Okay, noise, telling students not to play with the camera or not to watch television, or you need to mute students. Block, I think I love block, but again, block needs to be, it's very good because in block you can add more audience to your students rather than just their classmates. Okay, I think that is the Padlet. Let's get back to my PowerPoint. Whoopsie. Okay, so this is the resources that I use. You can have it, click it there, very useful reading. And thanks. I think I've done my presentation. If you have any burning questions that you want to ask me or something that you would like to share, this is the time. Thank you, Frances.
Thank you, Ibu Neni. Thank you for your presentation. Thank you for reminding us of the importance of netiquettes in our today's life. We take everything for granted now that we are online, that we forgot this important element. Bapak Ibu, semoga presentasi tadi cukup membuat kita berpikir tentang pentingnya netiquette dalam kehidupan digital sekarang ini. We get some nice reminders of things to do and not to do. I particularly like the part of respect of other people's privacy and bandwidth. That's important now. So thank you, Nani, for reminding me about that. I personally also think that this is culturally related in terms of people's privacy. So now we come to the question and answer session. We have more than 260, almost 260 participants joining us today. I would like to give a shout out to attendees from the incredible India. We have Buwana Bardwaj from Mumbai. We have people from Belitung, Ibu Adisandi, and from Jayapura. I think I saw Ibu Yulini Rinantanti and Ibu Mariana Rini. From Banten, Jakarta, ada tetangga dari Salatiga. We have Ibu Mega Maharani from Semarang. We have tetangga sedikit jauh dari Salatiga. We have Ibu Arida from Jogja. We also have attendees from Medan. Horas, Ibu Ana Ariana. And from Balikpapan. And of course, from my hometown, Makassar, we have Musdalifah Mansu. So thank you very much. We have some comments here, Nani, and I would like to recap for you. Ibu Junida Maningrum said that she's so glad to join this webinar and hopefully it will be useful. Yeah, this is just comments on your presentation. So Bapak Ibu, you're welcome to post your questions in the Q&A room. We have several already there. And I'm gonna share that with Nani, and you can also check that. So while waiting for you to ask questions, I would like to read some comments in the Q&A so far from Pak Ignatius Ariono. He said that he also asked his students to check and recheck. That's also something that Nani shared earlier. Okay, so Ibu Susanti said that the topic is really awesome. I'm glad you agreed, Ibu. Thank you for joining the session. For the question, Ibu Neni, we have several here. Yang pertama, something very light. Slide-nya Mbak Neni pakai apa ya? Keren, thanks. Itu dulu kali, Nen.
I'm using PowerPoint. Seriously, I'm using PowerPoint. The difference is maybe because I like to design my PowerPoint. I can show you how. Like, I can show you how. So
Okay, pakai
let
PowerPoint
me
berarti ya.
pakai PowerPoint aja. Saya tidak muluk-muluk. So something
Baik.
like oops, tunggu. Saya stop sharing. Ini memakai PowerPoint dengan cara ini kalau dilihat di apa sih namanya di desain itu kan bisa macam-macam, tapi you can also go to slideshow. No, wait, not slideshow. Wait, kok saya lupa ya? Jadi lupa. Aku jadi lupa. Oh, view. Go to view. Go to slide master. Okay. And you see that you can actually change the different one here. Ini saya nyari gambar sendiri sih, terus kemudian ditemplokin ke sini. Gitu.
Okay,
Itu aja
baik.
sih. Itu aja sih.
That's the light question. Now let's go to business, okay?
Okay.
The first question here from Yuli Yanto: how do you treat the clowns of the class who keep making unnecessary comments or throw jokes during online lesson?
Okay. First one referring to the FAQ. So that's why kayak inilah, kayak punya tempelan poster di muka kelas gitu bahwa 1 boleh ini, 2 boleh ini. Itu the right way to do so ya. 1, please check again. 2, you can reprimand. Nggak boleh ya gitu. Hormatilah orang lain, things like that. The third one, I think it's sometimes it's also useful to agree on a set of consequences. If you are violating the netiquettes in this class, you have to go through something. Okay, take the points. I'm going to pick a points from you, 5 points, 5 minus. Okay, itu kasus ekstrim sih, but it works sometimes. It works sometimes. If you're, I think even in real life, we will also punish, in a way, our students when they're violating certain rules. But we have to make sure that at the beginning, we have already made it clear what are the rules and what are the consequences if they violate the rules. And that also applies to you as a teacher, because as a teacher, you sometimes commit mistakes too. So rules and consequences, it's very important to put it up front so everybody is aware.
Okay, so the rules is important, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bapak Ibu, this afternoon we also have panelists as always in iTELL webinar. So we have the president of iTELL, Bapak Gumawang Jati. We have Pak Toar, Pak Agus, Pak Grace, Mbak Sheila, and Pak Made, and also Teh Finita and Mas Daniel. So you can also, I think some of your questions have been answered by the panelists in the Q&A part. I'm going to choose another one for you, Nani. This is about the parents. The parents need to be educated as well, apparently. This is from Ibu Rosalia Vidyawati. She said that it's important to, I like the part of setting the rules for the students, but do you have any suggestion on how to show the set of rules for the parents? Because they sometimes call the teachers even during midnight.
I think
on that.
I will share the netiquettes with the parents. I will share the netiquettes with the parents as an announcement. And I don't know, probably this is a crazy idea, but if the parents are actually doing something violating the question and answer, I'm going to make that consequences into the students as well. So instead of like, hey, your mom and dad, they're doing something violating our etiquette, so you're going to get the consequences of that. Because sometimes this is like this. This is something I learned from my sons. This is something I learned from my son. My son is like Jalu is a very a person who is very strict about rules and regulations, and sometimes being called out by him, like having him pointing out my mistake, is very shameful for me as a parent. Like, mom, you're not doing that. That's against the rules and things like that. So it's very important as well that when you set up some set of rules with your students, make sure that you also make these rules makes the parents aware of the rules as well. Jadi kalau bikin peraturan dengan siswa, di-share dengan orang tuanya juga, gitu. Bahwa kalau misalnya melanggar, ini ada konsekuensi-konsekuensi. Jadi Bapak Ibu tolong yang di rumah, gitu ya, berilah contoh kepada anak-anaknya. I always like the idea of telling the parents that they set an example for their children. It's like calling out that they're supposed to behave like an adult, because their children will learn from them. And I think many times that's enough actually to let the parents learn their mistakes and not repeating the same mistakes.
Okay, to follow up on that, a few newer comments just appeared on the chat room and asking about, do we need to make an etiquette contract at the beginning of the learning for that purpose? And then I would like to go on and include Ibu Sandra's Sambal's question about reprimand. You mentioned about reprimanding. So can you give an example of constructive reprimanding if there is any? So this is basically still related on how when students don't do that.
Etiquette contract is useful. And I think it's necessary, not only just about etiquette, but also about assessment, for example. Almost all aspects of our teaching. I like creating syllabus at the beginning of the semester, for example, with everything, including the netiquette, including the office hour, including the assessment and things like that. It is a learning contract is a useful piece of document that we can refer the whole time during the semester. So we don't necessarily need to remind them all the time because it's already there. And many times I just say like, look at the syllabus, look at the learning contract, it's already there. Second thing, what is the second thing, Francis?
Second thing is the reprimanding, actually.
Oh, reprimanding.
Yeah, constructive reprimanding that you can suggest for teachers.
I would say
if they violate the etiquette contract, for example.
I would say it's like breaking a bad news in real life. You don't break a bad news in public. You don't reprimand in public. So you don't reprimand in the whole WhatsApp group. Okay, you will do it in a private channel, so face to face. So you can contact your students and always put the consequences of their behavior. So if they behave in certain way, for example, if they swear, put them in a position that, how do you feel when somebody swears at you? I think pretty much this is something that is offline, but you do it online. So one, don't reprimand people in public, except that it applies to many people, of course. And second, always try to put your students in other people's shoes. It's like, how do you feel if I yell at you in WhatsApp? How do you feel if somebody say this thing to you? So again, don't do it in public because it's going to be painful and hurtful and not respectful.
Okay, so you put them back in the position as the okay. I hope that answers the question. I forgot who asked the questions earlier. We also have many people ask Nani if you can also include that in your slide later on regarding the further readings on this topic. So they would like to do, they would like to learn more. I think more than 2 people asked that or mentioned that in the chat as well. If you could suggest the latest theoretical backgrounds on this issue. I don't think you have to answer right now, but perhaps you can give some references in your slides that people can download from the website. Bapak Ibu yang bertanya tentang bacaan lanjutan, nanti Ibu Neni akan menyediakannya di PowerPoint slide yang akan di-upload di website iTELL. Oh, she will try. Okay. I'll make sure she does that.
One thing that I think I missed, this is regarding safety and privacy of personal information. Ini saya akan bicara dalam bahasa Indonesia karena ini masalah bagi banyak orang Indonesia. Gitu. Orang Indonesia itu sangat mudah baik diri sendiri maupun orang lain untuk membagi informasi personal. Nama itu tidak cukup gitu. Alamat itu penting gitu. Nomor KTP gitu. Apalagi ya, foto lokasi gitu, lokasi face up. Kita harus menyadari bahwa data itu bisa dipakai untuk berbagai kepentingan. Gitu. Dan ada gerakan-gerakan untuk tidak membagi data karena misalnya di Hong Kong misalnya orang akan menghindari menampilkan muka karena kita berada dalam dunia yang teknologinya semakin berkembang cepat sehingga biometrik kita itu bisa dipakai sebagai informasi yang disalahgunakan. Sekarang udah ada misalnya login dengan memakai muka gitu. Makanya saya agak-agak khawatir dengan face up misalnya kan. Saya nggak mau muka saya dipakai untuk sesuatu. Cara yang praktek yang paling parah itu sebenarnya adalah memilih apa yang dibagi dan tidak. Nomor handphone itu buat saya sesuatu yang sangat pribadi dan tidak saya bagi. Gitu. Saya rasa anak-anak kita juga harus belajar bagaimana melindungi privasi mereka. Check in di satu tempat misalnya, geotagging location gitu. Ya kadang-kadang ada sih anak-anak milenial yang habis pergi ke Singapura terus kemudian mesti geotaggingnya gitu, Universal Studios Singapura gitu. Tapi apakah tidak terus kemudian tempat-tempat kekinian gitu. Tapi itu juga berbahaya loh informasi-informasi semacam itu. Sehingga privacy and safety kita bahkan kalau di negara-negara barat ya terutama mau screenshot webinar macam ini yang ada mukanya Frances, muka saya gitu, ada mukanya Kak Daniel, Toar, Pak Jati dan itu tuh harus minta izin dulu loh gitu. Apakah oke untuk di screenshot gitu? Apakah tidak mau gitu? Kalau tidak mau ya dimatikan videonya gitu. Ini kalau kita screenshot sekarang nih mukanya saya dan Frances kelihatan gitu. Terus nanti saya nggak bisa ngeles di pembimbing saya loh. Nah ini kamu kemana? Kamu ada loh buktinya. Lagi online kamu waktu itu kamu kenapa tidak hubungi? Tidak ada. Something like that. So privacy and safety of your students.
Thank you for adding that point because Ibu Angie Prita also mentioned about privacy issues on how in most Indonesian university during graduation ceremony, they release a yearbook or alumni book that contains a very detailed information about the alumni. I think it's also cultural, yeah, because that's very cultural related. All right, panelists, if you would like to add something, don't just stay quiet there. You can just unmute yourself and start your video. But Ibu Neni, we have 4 people who raised their hands. We have Ibu Mariana Rini, Pascalia Paradanti, Galuh Nur Rohma, and M. Zaini Mifta. Do you want to hear from them?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Fire
can I ask the host to
who do you want?
Them? Ibu Mariana Rini, she's been
Mariana
raising her hands
okay.
from the beginning of the session.
So I put Ibu Mariana inside.
Okay, Ibu Mariana, you can now talk. If you can unmute your microphone.
Mariana Rini. Ya, Ibu, can you hear us? Bisa dengar, Ibu?
Oh, suddenly now the hand signs from 5 becomes 2, so probably they just accidentally.
Unmute kayaknya tidak ya. Mungkin I put Ibu Galuh ya.
Galuh, oke. Okay. Ibu Galuh Nur Rohmah.
Ya, sebentar. Bisa ngobrol-ngobrol. Silakan nanti angkat tangan yang lain.
Panelis ya, tolong ya panelis.
Ibu Mariana, I think she just accidentally hit probably. Or Ibu Galuh.
Ibu Galuh bisa dengar kita kah? Halo. Oh, rupanya kepencet.
Salah pencet juga mungkin ya.
Salah pencet juga. Jadi angkat tangan Peggy Jonathan ya.
Yes.
Oke.
Selamat sore Ibu
Ya,
Neni.
selamat sore.
Dengan Pak Jati dan teman-teman panelis.
Yeah.
I just downloaded the Goodreads application for reading and for review. Thank you for sharing, Ibu Nini. Now, I tried to download the reading material from the application, the Goodreads application, but I think it is directly connected to
Yeah.
Amazon.com.
Memang
Is
memang
there
tidak
any
tersedia
fee?
bukunya, Bu. Memang
Oh,
tidak tersedia
okay.
bukunya. But everyone, don't worry, I do have some free free materials. Let me see. Saya mungkin harus share. Coba saya share ya. Namanya Project Gutenberg. Project Gutenberg. Jadi Gutenberg Project.
Project Gutenberg.
Project Gutenberg ya. Jadi Project Gutenberg, this is for free ebooks. Why it can be free? Because it has already, the copyright is already expired. Jadi kalau peraturannya di Amerika Serikat itu, begitu pengarangnya sudah meninggal 75 tahun setelah pengarangnya meninggal, copyright buku-buku akan gratis. Nah, ini free, nggak pakai registrasi, dan ada katalognya, dan top 100-nya tuh menarik. Jadi kalau Bapak Ibu lihat ini, ada Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, sangat terkenal, Alice Adventures in Wonderland, Moby Dick, Frankenstein, dan semua buku-buku klasik yang kita biasanya beli untuk penguin ya gitu. So if you click Pride and Prejudice, for example, you can read this book online, which is HTML. If you have an ebook reader, you can use ebook or EPUB or Kindle or plain text and more files. Gitu. So this is free. This is completely free. So something like this. Oh, chapternya. Wow, gitu. Saya senang sekali dengan Project Gutenberg, dan Project Gutenberg itu punya puluhan ribu ya, Ibu. So yeah, it's about 60,000 free ebooks, and they're very interesting. So if you want to see, that's one of the way, Project Gutenberg. I love that website. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. This is useful information for my reading class, because resources like this are very, very, very expensive, especially for Kupang. Thank you,
Yes.
Bu Neni. Yeah.
Ibu Peggy dari Kupang?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm from Kupang, Artawacana.
Artawacana. Okay.
I see.
Terima kasih Ibu Peggy. Thank you Ibu
Thank
Peggy.
you, Ibu Frances.
If you still have questions, Bapak Ibu, and you would like to speak, you can also say your questions for everybody to listen.
Yeah,
In
somebody
the meantime,
still raising hand?
No more, Pak.
Isna Indriati.
Mungkin ada panelis yang mau
Oh yeah, that's new.
jawab.
Okay.
Bentar, masukin
okay.
Isna dulu. Mungkin.
Sementara
Ibu
itu
Isna,
kalau mungkin
can you
panelis
hear us?
ada yang mau menjawab
Ibu Isna
pertanyaan.
Indriati. Oh. Halo.
Bu Isna.
Bu Isna. Oh, kayaknya.
Bu Isna tidak ada.
Sudah. Ya, teman-teman yang lain mau menambah, silakan.
Terutama kalau ada pertanyaan di question and answer yang menarik yang bisa diangkat teman-teman panelis. Gitu.
Ya, ini ada Charlie.
Oh,
kemarin mau masuk tetapi tidak bisa. Sekarang saya coba.
Bu Isna udah unmute tuh.
Ya.
Oh, Ibu Isna, Ibu Isna.
Ibu Isna, can you hear us? Ibu Isna? Ya sudah. Sherlyn dulu deh.
Okay, Ibu Sherlyn.
Okay. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for this. This is actually the second chance for me to ask question. Kak Neni, this is very interesting presentation, and I really, what is that? I experience it now, and then one of my students keep on spamming me with stickers. Just like in WA. So I am using WA, but not WA group like that for teaching and learning during this pandemic. But I have to confess that I missed the first step, the very important step, which is to set the rule. I missed that part because when this pandemic attack, the place where I work on suddenly have to change it, and then everything just happened so fast, and I didn't even think that this kind of rule for netiquettes is really that important, and it's really annoying that I have more than one students spamming me with stickers. Because for example like this, I send them the material that they have to do for this term, then they keep on but this is not a group, so it's a personal chatting. But can you imagine if you have more than 5 students in one what is that, one session, and then this session ends for about 2 hours, and these 2 hours I have to keep on erasing my students message to me simply to scroll up to look at my previous instruction. So right now, by listening this presentation, I am thinking about what is my next step. I mean, because I have missed the very first one, which is really important. I just realized it. And then how do you think I can manage this again so that I won't accept any spamming anymore and my students will learn these netiquettes as well? Thank you. That's my question.
Okay. It's never too late for anything, I think, Charlene.
Yes.
So you can start by setting up netiquettes. And one thing that is also important is not just setting the rules, but also giving logical reasons why such thing is necessary. If you feel that by spamming you with stickers that's annoying, tell them so. Like, tell them that it's very annoying. Or if I were like, if I want to make my point, I will spam them with stickers myself. Like, see, this is what happened when you spam me with stickers. There are many stickers. It's really hard to actually understand. So sometimes, sometimes I will spam them with stickers. But again, joke aside, I think it's not too late to actually set up the netiquettes, but also putting in mind, ya teman-teman juga, untuk semua teman-teman di sini juga, kita menetapkan aturan itu selalu disertai dengan penjelasan, dengan alasan yang logis, mengapa perlu peraturan gitu. Karena kita ini mengajar orang gitu. Kita harus percaya pada siswa kita bahwa siswa kita itu bisa berpikir logis kok gitu loh. Daripada kita menetapkan aturan tanpa penjelasan logis, terus kemudian mereka nggak mau ngerjain karena itu tidak logis sama sekali. So start by talking with your students of some etiquettes that is agreeable between you, and I think going from there you can always refer back to the netiquettes now. Gitu ya? Atau ya atau ada yang lain?
Jadi sebagian strategi yang Kak Neni sebutkan tadi, I have ever applied like last week. So one of the students, I remind him like apa tadi istilahnya ya. Jadi saya benar-benar ngomong, okay, stop sending me so many stickers and so on. If you want to ask question, you write it completely in one sentence. Don't send me like, for example, how, and then enter again, to, and then enter, do, and then this, and question mark, dots, dots, and then stickers, and then suddenly when I explain it, and then he will just reply me by another. So I have told him, I mean, okay, I addressed him already. I have told him, but then maybe because this student is younger students, makanya mungkin masih dianggap Miss ini bercandaan kali atau gimana. I don't know, and I don't know how to overcome this anymore because I have told him not to do so, but he keeps on doing that. So my only power is just to erase it from my own in my own chat room, so that I don't know how to approach him anymore. But the other students are actually okay. But there are some annoying students like that.
Yeah, annoying sih gitu. Yeah, one set the rule. Second, explain why the rule is necessary. 3, make your points by doing the same thing on him and see how he feels about it.
Do you think I need to talk to the parents for him not to do so anymore, or how?
Start talking to the students first. Mungkin juga begini. Kadang-kadang ada students yang gayanya bukan gaya visual. Gaya visual tuh maksudnya ketik dan membaca ya. Kalau necessary ya perlu ditelepon kayaknya. Perlu ditelepon video call dan kemudian bilang gitu. Gitu. Atau dikasih tunjuk screenshot ini loh yang terjadi kalau misalnya kamu mengirim begitu banyak, ini yang terjadi dan ini mengganggu gitu. Karena kadang-kadang students, especially younger one, they haven't been able to simulate what is the effect of what they're doing to others gitu. Jadi perlu ditempatkan di posisi orang lain gitu. Dengan konsisten gitu loh. Ini loh yang terjadi kalau kamu melakukan ini ke orang lain tuh begini, gimana perasaanmu. So I think that's important to consistently remind or put your students in other people's shoes.
Yeah.
Gitu.
Okay, I have another question.
Ibu Charlene, we still have three attendees raising their hands.
Just short. This one is short.
Okay.
Okay, so regarding adding friends on Facebook or other social media, before I didn't accept any friend request from my students, but lately I accepted because since for the sake of this online learning, and then it turns out some of my students like taking the photograph and edit it and comment it like something like that. How do we do we really need to accept their friend request, or how do we take care of this? Thank you. That's the end of my question.
Okay, thank you, Charlene. Ibu Nen, you can answer that, and perhaps panelists can also jump in and share your experience.
I would say create a different account for a purpose like that. If this is a Facebook group, I think you don't need to be friends to be in the same group. As far as I remember, please, other people maybe can comment on this, but as far as I remember, if you create a Facebook group, you don't need to be friends with the member of the groups. So that's one way. So either create another account for the purpose of the course, or if this is a Facebook group, you don't need to accept their friendship.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Suddenly we have more hands, Pak Jati. Can we start with Ibu Arisandi or Bapak?
Okay, Ibu Arisandi. Yeah.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Oh, Bapak. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I just want to clarify that I'm not Ibu. Yeah. Okay. I have some questions maybe. Actually, I have already asked this question in the Q&A section, but I would like to directly ask this question about, giving assignment through WhatsApp, because as we know that we are not really ready about this situation. Not everyone is ready about this condition because it's really, really sudden and it's really rapid, I think, just like the virus spread. Yeah. So that's why, especially we are in Belitung Island, we are in the remote area. The only application that we can use is only WhatsApp. So that's why I apply this application for my students' learning. My question is, in order to discipline the students to submit their assignments, I think it's kind of hard, especially when we have Ibu Neni said that we have to keep the duration of the, of doing the task or assignment. But the problem is I already gave them the time to do the assignment. For example, 2 hours. I gave them the daily test, but only 50%, that submitted the assignments on time. So it's kind of hard for me to discipline them to submit their assignments on time, because this condition is just like a reason for them. For example, they just say that, oh, we don't have quota here, blah blah blah, but at the same time they are really active on Facebook, Twitter, or other social media. So that's why I try to give rewards rather than punishment, because I just want to motivate them positively. For example, I just give an extra score for the students that can submit their assignments on time. But I don't give, but I don't decrease the score of the students that are late to submit their assignments. My question is that, I'm so sorry for repeating this. My question is that, how to discipline the students, and because I think it's kind of a big problem for us, because it is a reality that most of teachers, English teachers especially, will give, I don't know, it's just like I don't know, just like a forgiveness for the student. They will give a, a 75 or the minimum criteria score for the students that are not even submit each assignment. They are just playing safe, yeah. So that's why I just want to ask for your thoughts or ideas, yeah, about how to discipline the students, and also to give score for the students that are not submit their assignments at all. And then the second,
okay, so that's you want to ask about how to discipline students in submitting their assignments,
yes.
ya Pak Sandi, ya?
Yes.
Okay, so Pak Agus actually presented on WhatsApp on Tuesday, teaching using WhatsApp. If Pak Sandi ikut ya sesinya, atau bisa nonton di YouTube lagi. Any thoughts for Ibu Neni, panelists?
What would you do in normal situation without pandemics? What would you do if somebody doesn't submit the assignment?
Actually, I just, if they submit the assignments on time in the real life, I will give the highest score, even for 100. But when they are late, I will decrease the score. For example, I will only give the maximum score is 80. For the ones who are late one day, I will give maybe less score. When they are late, give them more days of late. So that's why, in the real life, I can use that. But in the social media, it's really harder for us to reprimand or to do something, because when we reprimand them, maybe they can skip, or maybe they can go, just leave us. But in the real class, they cannot leave us. They cannot neglect us, because we are face to face. But in this situation, when I, reprimand them, yeah, even though I haven't done that, but they just leave the chat or something.
Okay, baik Pak Sandi, Pak Jati mau menambahkan.
Ya, menambahkan sedikit. For this pandemic, you are from Bangka Belitung.
Yes.
I know the situation there. Geographically, tidak menguntungkan. Signal agak susah di sana. Number two, economically, some students there, tidak semuanya punya kuota cukup pastinya. Then you have to understand that situation. You said that they are active in Facebook. Then why don't you submit the work through Facebook? Kenapa harus pakai WA gitu? Berikanlah alternatif yang lain. Yeah, that's another.
All right.
You can try that. How to discipline them? Kita harus tahu betul. Jadi kalau biasanya face to face you give like 2 days, for online maybe you need longer time. Mungkin perlu dipertimbangkan karena mungkin signal, mungkin alasannya macam-macam lah. Kita tidak boleh terus judge bahwa ya mereka malas, mereka dan semua. Nggak boleh gitu. Kita harus tahu betul keadaan. They are not happy as well with the situation. Itu kira-kira. Ya, very general. Back to you, Bu Francis.
Baik, Pak Jati. Oke, Pak Toar mau menambahkan?
However, I think you need to be very strict about deadlines. Kalau dari awal ya lenient, nanti dianggap gampang dengan Bapak Arsandi. Harus tetap strict. That's all I think. Just to add something.
Okay, consistent.
Boleh menambahkan nggak? Kalau di real life Pak Arisandi sudah menerapkan bahwa kalau terlambat dikurangi, ya jangan diubah peraturannya, gitu loh. Mungkin memperhatikan Pak Jati bahwa diperpanjang waktunya, tapi ketika waktu yang panjang itu deadline-nya sudah sertifikat, ya udah kalau di real life memang dikurangi nilainya, ya udah kurangi aja gitu loh.
Iya, soalnya kemarin kan pertimbangan saya tuh kalau di dunia maya itu banyak hambatan dalam internet dan sebagainya, Bu. Sehingga kalau untuk pengurangan skor itu mungkin saya memaklumi terhadap mungkin kuota, sinyal dan sebagainya sudah dikasih excuse dengan tidak dikurangi skor. Tapi mungkin masukannya bisa saya terima.
Ya,
Kemudian
nanti
pertanyaan
kan bisa di apa namanya dipertimbangkan nilainya. Tapi untuk melatih anak-anak, ya nanti nilainya jangan dikurangi, tapi di awal itu unit from the very beginning harus strict. Jadi walaupun nanti pun tidak dikurangi, tapi mereka tahu, oh kalau sama Pak Risandi harus, they will do everything to make it on time. Kalau mereka, tapi kalau dari awal sudah sama Pak Risandi bisa telat, apa-apa.
Satu lagi Pak, pertanyaannya.
Baik, Pak Agus mau menambahkan?
Pak Agus.
Oke, bentar, dikit aja. Kalau saya tidak mengurangi nilai, tetapi saya selalu memberi feedback pada mahasiswa, pada siswa yang menyampaikan pekerjaannya on time. Meyakinkan pada mereka bahwa assignment itu bukan untuk kita. This is for them. Itu untuk mereka. Itu feedbacknya dikasih, kemudian yuk direvisi lagi. Setelah saya masih buka revisi lagi. Tapi saya tidak akan kasih feedback, saya nggak nilai pada kesempatan pertama. Saya kasih feedback dulu yang bagus, oke, bolehlah ya. Tapi pasti masih ada yang perlu diperbaiki. Tapi yang tidak saya kasih feedback itu saya yang terlambat tidak saya kasih feedback. Tapi tetap kita adakan diskusi di kelas. Seperti kalau di sesi saya kemarin, saya ambil satu kasus, kemudian supaya yang datang telat pun dapat input sebetulnya, tapi not directly ke siswa tersebut. Bagaimana caranya? Saya pakai menggunakan fasilitas track changes, biasanya itu, atau saya menggunakan komen-komen di Google Documents, kemudian menyampaikannya seperti itu. So, perubahan yang saya tidak membetulkan, hanya memberi, oh ini keliru loh, Cah. Ini harus dibenerin loh ya. Oke, lihat ini gitu. Hanya beri dulu. That's the point. Thank you.
Soalnya problemnya juga kadang-kadang orang tuanya kasih pembelaan juga. Orang tuanya bilang katanya ya dari lagi wabah pandemi ini anaknya jangan diturunkan daya tahan tubuhnya dengan dikasih tugas banyak-banyak gitu. Malah kalau di Bangka Belitung kita kemarin ada sempat salah satu anggota dewan provinsi kita itu yang ngasih warn kepada guru untuk jangan terlalu banyak memberi tugas kepada siswa gitu. Di satu sisi kita ada
untuk Bangka Belitung saya tahu sih permasalahannya. Jadi di sana itu sekolah gratis dan segala macam menimbulkan masalah dan segala macam. So it's mungkin kita akhiri di situ saja dulu pertanyaan. Kompleks banget. Itu kan ditarik 2.000 orang tuanya, ditarik 2.000 orang tuanya datang ke sekolah gitu loh. Jadi sangat kompleks situasinya.
Okay, alright.
Thank you Pak Arisandi.
Yeah, thank you for the ideas. Yeah, okay.
Baik, terima kasih Pak Arisandi sudah bertanya dan juga sudah dijawab oleh Bu Neni dan panelists. Ada satu lagi, but we don't have time, unfortunately. Ini waktunya sudah mau jam 5 ya Pak Jati ya?
Iya.
So many questions, so it shows that this is important and a lot of people learn from your session, Neni. So Bapak Ibu, thank you for joining our session today. It's been nice to also hear from the attendees, a lot of stories, Pak Arisandi and Ibu Peggy and many other stories. And I hope you find this session useful for your teaching context, particularly in dealing with this issue of netiquette. I would like to remind you that tomorrow we also have another session with Ibu Yvonne, Dr. Francisca Maria Yvonne, and she's going to talk about technology in extensive listening and viewing. Jadi Bapak Ibu yang mengajar listening mungkin tertarik untuk bergabung. Sesinya besok tidak sore tapi pagi ya Bapak Ibu, 6 of June, Saturday, jam 10 sampai jam 11.30. So let's have a weekend together with iTELL tomorrow. Baik, terima kasih sekali lagi Ibu Neni, para panelists for standing by there and answering all the questions. We have one last chat, Bapak Marianus, apakah ada sertifikat No, Pak.
Oh,
Tidak ada ya.
Terada sertifikat,
tidak
jadi sudah
ada.
lupakan.
Okay, sudah ada clap di chat. So can we end this session with more clap for Ibu Neni and all the
virtual
panelists?
Virtual hug, begini, virtual hug.
Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. See you tomorrow and the next iTELL webinar session. Have a nice afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are.
Yeah, thank you.
Bagus virtual hug dulu.